All right, I think we've got our first caller.
All right, let's do it.
You ready?
Connor in Colorado, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. What can we help you with today?
I called in before. I'm about flat Earth. I'm the flat Earth caller.
Oh, hey, Connor.
Oh, it's you. Hey.
Yeah.
Me. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Yeah, you were going to call in 2 weeks, and I didn't hear from you.
Yeah, did you manage to find that triangular Earth?
I did, and I did a YouTube video about it.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I was going to jump in. You're hosting.
So what did you want to talk about today?
I was curious in the way the YouTube videos are clipped, etc. After the main show, it seems like the audience has a little bit more disdain for conspiracy theorists. Perhaps they put me in that category than they do religious.
Yeah.
Like religious seem to get a little bit more of a pass from people. Like conspiracy theorists, if you believe in chemtrails or something like that, it doesn't seem like you're quite on the same level.
Yeah, I think that there are a couple factors there. I think that it all depends on the claim that's being made more than it is on like the category of person that you're talking to. So there are some conspiracy theories that are actually like really interesting and would garner a really cool conversation about, how do we know things and who's involved and all of that. And I don't think that that type of person would necessarily be treated more disdainfully than, say, somebody who is the week before or a couple weeks before the 2020 election, there was a Christian who called in saying that he had a prophecy from God that Trump would be reelected and that China would invade D.C. and that the United Nations would fall apart by January 2021 and like really crazy stuff. So that person got called out pretty intensely.
Yeah.
But I think the issue here is there are more religious people than there are conspiracy theorists, and religion has a larger foothold. So it is more normalized a lot of the time. So a claim that would be ridiculous in any other context seems normal or more normal just because we've heard it so much and it's been like absorbed into the culture. So conspiracy theorists definitely don't have that advantage. But also there's this other area around infallibility, right, or falsifiability, where a lot of the claims that religions make are not falsifiable, right? They're like, oh, well, there is a God on another plane of existence somewhere that cares about something sometimes. And you're like, okay, well, like, that's impossible to prove or disprove. So it really does come down to personal beliefs and whether or not you're forming beliefs correctly. A lot of conspiracy theories are based around falsifiable concepts that are just not understood correctly. And so that's also a large part of it. It's not just, oh, well, we can never know. Nobody can know. This is objectively outside of the realm of the provable. It's, oh, you're misunderstanding what chemtrails are. Here is the actual facts around what they are. And if you deny that, then comes into play like, okay, well, why is that the case? Why are you denying what, seems to be a pretty substantial fact? So there are a couple things at play there. What do you think?
No, that makes a lot of sense. Though, I would kind of think that the religious are on less firm footing than some of the conspiracy theorists, because the conspiracies, actually you can get a hold of them somehow. Well, they're not as ineffable.
Fair. I'd love to maybe point in a different direction about why at least I have more contempt, because I think I do have more contempt for conspiracy theorists than a lot of religions.
Ooh, contempt.
Contempt.
That's an interesting word. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm curious now too.
So I think that in my experience, and mind you, all I have is my own experience. And so I'm not going to be able to speak to someone else who hasn't had this. And so the best I can do is give you why this has been the case for me. I have people really close to me who have bought into some really damaging, harmful conspiracy theories. And so I can give you just a kind of an idea of it. But ultimately, it is based on this assumption that that people are actively lying to them and that they are being misled, and that it's just, I'm sure you've heard Connor. I'm sure you have heard people say, "Oh, this was an honest conversation," or "That was an honest interlocutor," right?
Yes.
And so I think that often people will mistake an honest or a dishonest tactic with a dishonest person. And so I think that's a problem. But in this case, I think it's a dishonest person. I think that if someone is wanting to talk to me and they're already bringing to the table this idea that I'm part of a massive conspiracy that is intent on lying to them and everyone else, how can we listen to each other? How can we have a productive conversation? People have called in and talked to me before saying that I was hiding secret satanic clues on the show so that, I could
We're not hiding them. They're right there.
God, no. So that I could signal our secret Satanist ties or whatever. And they were just too smart. They were too smart. They figured me out. And here's the impact. I had a family member die because they did not get medicine that they needed, because they were told that they were being lied to by the medical establishment and that they were being made sicker, and going to the doctor would kill them. They believed that. They took medicine that didn't work and died, and it could have not happened, right? So when we're talking about religion, I feel like there are so many different people. It's such a wide range that there can be really damaging things that we can talk about, and there can be really, benign things, some, pseudo woo person who kind of just believes in spirits or whatever. But when you're specifically talking about conspiracy theories, you're building this, it's like scaffolding outside of a building. Right? And you're building this extra scaffolding that includes all of these wild assumptions about the world. And I feel like it's really detrimental to the way that you would interact in the world. It cuts you off from being able to talk to people because you're assuming that they're a part of some grand network conspiracy. And anytime that I interact with those, or people who with a conspiracy theory in general, unfortunately, that's the baggage that I bring to the table. So you could probably see, at least I hope, why I have that contempt.
Yeah, I understand that. That makes sense, though. I think not all conspiracy theorists feel that way. Some, I don't know. I don't lump myself in that category, but I'd say so.
But I bet you've seen it. You've seen it.
Yeah, so I've seen religious people too who've talked to me as an atheist and said, "Hey, Connor, you're lying about it. If you took a lie detector test, you would actually believe in God. You're just denying."
And that is dishonest to its core, and I hate that. But I've never had a religious person tell me that Jews were secret aliens.
I'm gonna have to interject here. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to interject. Okay. You were right on the money when you said that religious people as a category was too broad to even say any one thing about.
Yeah, right? or just have disdain for.
Right. Like, it's too big of a category. There are too many different kinds of people.
Which is why we ask people what they believe and meet them where they are.
Right. That said, I think that conspiracy theory, is encouraged by religious thinking a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. And also, most conspiracy theorists, at least right now in the US, are directly linked to religion. So, like, QAnon is directly linked to this really radical fundamentalist evangelical Christian movement. True. So, and the person who talked about quote-unquote Jewish space lasers or whatever is a Christian and ran on a Christian ticket to make this a Christian nation. So, like, there is a lot more overlap there. And I think the issue is trying to separate those into two categories of conspiracy theorists and religions.
Right.
The issue that we have across the board is bad reasoning And that can apply to anybody. So conspiracy theory is baked into religion a lot of the time. Sometimes rightly so, because certain groups did, face persecution. A lot of the time, it's a holdover and it's an excuse to avoid civic responsibility, I think. So my issue here is that we're putting this into two separate groups. I just don't like conspiracy theorists of any sort, regardless of whether or not they are religious. It just so happens that religious thinking tends to lead more people, in my experience, to believing in conspiracy theories because they don't promote rationality.
I agree. Let me rephrase and see if that helps.
Okay.
I have never met someone who, on the basis of their religion, said that Jews were secret aliens. I have met people who, on the basis of their conspiracy theory, believe that Jews are secret aliens.
Is that a black swan fallacy though? If it's based on like.
Oh, I'm giving my anecdotal.
Okay.
So no, because I'm not making an all statement as much as I'm just trying to point out that.
The issue is the conspiracy theory.
Right.
The issue is not external beliefs to it, unless what we're trying to do is get to why you would accept a conspiracy theory in the first place.
And that being the case, I entirely agree with you.
In which case, we do need to look at external factors like, are you a religious person who was trained to accept things based on authority or based on how you feel or based on, the stories that you are told. So there's intertwining there for sure. But I think that what conspiracy theorists do is they strip away, they have removed themselves from the, I don't know, like they are just owning that conspiracy theory. It's not baked into their religion. It's not something that they might or might not believe. They are just saying, hey, here is a thing that I believe. And it's kind of weird. And then, if it's stupid, then we go after it. But the same thing happens if the person happens to be religious. You know what I mean?
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was a heated conversation. I was enjoying that. That was fun.
Me too. So this is what we do in real life. I know people in the comments are going to be like, you can tell they hate each other. No, this is why we're getting married. We love it.
Yeah.
Connor, I feel like you probably got way more than you were anticipating. Hopefully that's okay.
Great conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for calling in.
Take care.
Yep, you're welcome. All right, bye.
You want to drop the caller?
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be fun. Bye. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Give us your thoughts. I feel like that's going to inspire some interesting comments, that particular part of the conversation.
It will. And I'm wondering if people are going to listen to it all the way through, because I do agree with your broader point, but I just wanted to make that distinction, I guess.
Yeah. I'm still stuck on the disdain or contempt thing.
Oh.
Frankly.
I mean, I had someone close to me die.
Oh yeah.
You know, like it's
me too.
Yes.
It is a thing. But I don't know if it's useful to bring in terms like that.
Okay. I agree that it's not useful to advocate for that. I do think that being honest about where I'm standing and why I feel a certain way, and giving people that context, especially if they're going to want to call in and talk to me, helps. And so
that's a good point.
If you took that as me saying an ought thing, I was definitely giving an is and not an ought.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.